So this is the movie Black Christmas. It's a movie released in 1974, and it's about a sorority of women who end up getting murdered by a killer who is hiding in the house. It's a very low budget film, but it's very creepy and terrifying because the film is able to create an experience that leaves you unsettled and just creeped out because it allows so many unknowns, it allows so much uncertainty, and gives people a false sense of security throughout the film that the characters are safe. But in the movie, you watch it and you just are just completely captured by it. And I want to talk a little bit about two key scenes that illustrate how travel can be a form of can cause miscommunication and how it can communicate terror and relate to human beings. So the first opening scene, you see the sorority right there. And here I want to emphasize a very, very creepy scene where we're first introduced to the murderer. And we're going to see his perspective here. We're going to see his viewpoint of things. And I'll be jumping around to show you what it looks like. As you can see, you're seeing the killer's viewpoint now. He's going to an unknown place that he's never seen before. He's stumbling in, right? He's exploring the sorority, and this is so not too different from how we see unfamiliar places. Obviously, this guy is demented, he's crazy, and we're not like that. But as you can see, he's trying to understand he's trying to take a scope of the area. And the sorority girls are inside, and you see his heavy breathing, right? Now we don't relate to killers, but we relate to that this is a human being that potentially exists.
Hey, who left the goddamn front door open?
Okay, you see him. He's trying to figure out what to do. He's done some scoping, and you can see him walk up, right? He's looking up, and he's preparing his entrance into this unfamiliar building. And then you see his hands. See, that is so disturbing.
Are you? Who? Hang on, I'll take it. Oh, great. Hang on, I'll take it in the other room.
And now he's getting inside the attic, as you can see. He's broken inside the attic. He's going around, he's exploring. You see,
Would you guys shut up in there? I can't hear a damn thing.
they can't hear what's going on.
Mom, hang on, I can't hear you.
He's inside the
Operator, I
location.
can't hear.
And so
Coming from the other end. Can you? Yeah. Fine.
Party's over. Come on, all the men out. Come on. Bye-bye.
No, operator, I still can't hear.
So you see, this character has been able to infiltrate the building now, right? And so when we enter unfamiliar places, we're walking in, we're a little bit hesitant, we're a little bit trying to assess what this place looks like. You know, we come into places with the intention of visiting a destination, a location, whether say a new mall or a new attraction or a building like say Big Ben or something like that. We're going in to explore a new destination. And we're looking around exploring, right? And what's so creepy is this guy, he's insane, but he's seeing things through his perspective. You're seeing his dementedness, his slanted worldview of things, right? He's not exploring, he's exploring a place to carry out an evil misdeed. We travel to carry out good deeds. We carry out to travel to see something new, have a fun time. For him, his fun time is not learning or just pleasure. He is getting pleasure out of committing horrible crimes against human beings. He's a demented character that's traveling for a different purpose. We travel for business and pleasure. You could argue that he's doing it for pleasure, but it's a different type of pleasure. It's to commit harm to other people. But and we don't see his face, which makes him more human. Like we're seeing through the eyes of a monster, which is completely unsettling for any human being. You can see his heavy breathing,
I have some
his
stuff to do in
hands,
the afternoon, and then I was just going
his
to get
giant
the 7:20 train into the
hands.
city.
He's been able to get downstairs and sneak in, and she's not looking back, so she does not catch him.
Come on, you gotta be kidding.
And he's moving around, and as you can tell, he's just scoping out and trying to find a good spot to hide. So you fast forward, and he is able to infiltrate and travel inside, and is able to commit murders.
Where have you been? Mrs. Mack's been looking all over for you.
He has broken in now, and this is how he's able to commit his murders. He traveled inside and hid, and she's about to die, and a lot of characters are going to die because he was able to break in and travel inside the location. And so another character who's going to die is the mother of the house. She is the head of the sorority. She oversees it, and she ends up dying because of a fatal flaw in communication.
Now, if any of you find any from school,
We won't be long, Mrs. Mack.
All right, dear.
See you later.
Phil.
Yeah?
Phil, listen, I'm sure Claire will be all right.
I hope so.
And I just want to tell you that I'm going to go to my sister's for the holidays, so I might not be here when you get back.
That's okay. Look, just checking on Barb before you leave. Could you do that?
Of course I will. And you bundle up.
Yeah, we'll be all right, Mrs. Mack.
Mrs. Quaid,
See, in that key detail, she tells them, "Hey, I'm gonna be out of town. So if I'm not here, it's because I'm out of town." She gives them that detail, telling them she's gonna be out of town. So they assume she is going to be out of town if they don't see her. And this key assumption by them leads to disaster for everyone in the movie. Because if I fast forward, she ends up waiting for her taxi right in the movie. She's waiting for a taxi, as you can see.
Through the gate. I hear ya.
See, she ends up waiting for the taxi. The taxi is going to pick her up and take her to her sister's place. And this is the time before Uber and all that whatnot. But as you can see, she's waiting for the taxi. And in that time frame, she does some exploring. She found out she hears noises in the attic, and she goes to explore. And unfortunately, she meets her end. As you can see, she goes up.
Claude, are you up here? Jesus Christ, I don't see how it could be up here. Claude?
Claude is the cat.
Jesus, Claude, now look what you made me do. Claude? 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 God damn it, Claude, I'm gonna have you fixed.
So you see her. She is unfortunately killed. And the taxi driver checks.
anybody there?
No sound.
Anybody there?
Boom. And so this is such a pivotal moment because everyone has incorrect information due to her not going on her trip. She's assumed that she's her sister. That's what everyone in the house assumes. That's what they don't. So they assume she's just on a trip. Um, the taxi driver assumed that she has already left or she's in a ride, right? And she is dead. So that key point of information that she's dead in the house is now lost to everyone in the house, everyone in the town. It's a tragedy. So what's going to happen now is this leads to the downfall of more characters because nobody knows what happened. No one knows that her disappearance is not due to her own choice, but because she had been killed, she could not communicate that. So that leaves everyone in the entire movie insecure. They assume they're secure, but if they had that piece of information that she was dead and killed in the house, the killer was in the house, they would be able to stop her, to be able to stop the murderer and arrest him and say everybody. But this travel point of how, communication, miscommunication leads to wrong assumptions and leaves you to prey to die. And that's the tragedy story here in the film. This key element, this key point of her traveling and no one knows where she's going, or no everyone assuming she went somewhere else. Say if this was today was the present, right? If they had known that the first original character Claire or whatever her name is was they knew she was murdered. Maybe they didn't know she was murdered at this point. They just assumed she's lost or something. But if they had known she was dead, they would have warned this woman, and this woman would not have engaged. She would have been more careful about what she had done. She would have communicated to everyone in the house that, hey, we need to secure ourselves. We need to have texting each other and plan and whatnot. But that misinformation has led to her demise. And this leads to the demise of all the characters. The killer ends up killing everybody in the film, unfortunately.